Well, thank you, Victor. I've got this question from Victor as well. He says, no, he's Victor.
Another Victor.
He says about the social welfare. People will create ghost welfare beneficiaries. How will your party manage that?
Well, those are some of the problems that we expect. You know, just about any kind of system. Someone or the other is going to try and cheat. But we're going to try and manage that by ensuring that we check. We're going to do a lot of surveys. You know, we're going to do a lot of checking during the process of enumeration. And there'll be a constant and continuous checking exercise. But then we may not be able to escape cheating. But all that we will be able to prevent is a situation where there are too many false claims. But that's in the nature of these sorts of programs.
Because Lola also says that people beat the system abroad with all the technology, even in UK. So how will we manage it here?
It's like every system. People beat banks. You know, people beat banks. People are forever beating systems. But then you don't not do it because people may beat it. I think we'll do it. We'll work at it. We'll work at how to prevent people from beating the system. By the way, technology is getting better and better every day, and can cut down on cheating. 10 years ago, it would have been more difficult. For instance, we used to have ghost workers in a lot of ministries and governments all over the place. But with technology, that has been considerably reduced, and technology keeps getting better every day. But we still expect that there will be some cheating, and we'll have to deal with it as we come across.
Okay, well, we'll take a break, but we'll be back and get our closing moment on this one. Join us again. Welcome back. Our concluding moments now with Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Let's talk. Okay, I've seen a number of questions saying, what's your plan for revitalizing power and steel sector?
Let's take power. First problem with power, as you know, is that it's an energy problem. Getting gas to the IPPs, getting gas to the plants. But more importantly also, we have a transmission problem. Generation and distribution have been privatized, but transmission still remains in government hands. But what is even more disturbing about transmission is that the entire capacity of transmission is about 7,200 megawatts of power. So even if we were to generate more power, right, assuming we were to generate 10,000 megawatts of power, and we want to pass that through the grid, we'll only be able to evacuate 7,200 megawatts. You know, but at the moment we're not even doing 4,000 megawatts of power anyway. But the most important thing is that in order to plan for the future, which is what we're doing, we have to be able to go off grid. That's to say that we have to be able to go off the transmission grid and decentralize generation, transmission, and distribution of power. They have to be able to go off grid. So I'll take one example.
Okay.
I'll take an example. Lagos State, for instance, has an off-grid capacity on the marina. As a matter of fact, they have 5. That's 12.5 megawatts of power in one plant, right? Now that plant services public buildings on the Lagos Island and traffic lights. Sorry, security lights, all of the security lights, you know, the street lights across the Lagos Island. So you have one dedicated power plant, right? That doesn't go through the national grid. It doesn't require any piping of gas. It uses compressed natural gas, so it's actually trucked to the point, right? And it is dedicated to those to the public buildings and to the street lights, and you know, several public buildings and street lights. Now that's the kind of off-grid capacity you need, and you need to decentralize. So for instance, we want to deal with industrial clusters. We say computer village or Alaba market. We dedicate, because we need to be able to deal with industrial clusters. So we dedicate power, 12.5 megawatts of power to that particular area, so that they have 24/7 power.
Okay, is that you said you would generate 40,000 megawatts?
Yes.
In 4 years?
Yeah. Ultimately, well, that's what we see as what we require, the peak generation. Lagos State, for instance, which consumes the largest, today we need about 10,000 megawatts of power. So we're looking at that as our peak, when we're able to generate
40,000 in 4 years?
Well, the point is
I
that...
think it's very important that we repeat that over and over again.
No, the point is this. We haven't said that we're going to generate 40,000 in 4 years. What we've said is that we're going to generate 40,000 megawatts of power. That's our peak generation. Now, we can do 40,000 in 4 years. Why not? I don't see that that's a problem. Do
you currently see what we have right now, the challenges that we see? We have piping gas to our turbines as a challenge that you also might need to tackle.
Let me explain. There's so many challenges with our power sector. So many, but many of them are completely doable. They are resolvable problems. Look at investment.
How do you resolve, for instance, vandalism? Let's take vandalism as an instance.
Empower the right people. You can't outsource the Navy, as has been done. The Navy has been outsourced. You've got to empower the right people and hold them accountable. That's what you need to do. Now, it's been outsourced. It's been outsourced to OPC, to all sorts of militias. That's what's happened.
Well, because the Navy receiving certain ships, and they say we're still very capable, much more than any of those groups.
That's what I'm saying. I am saying that what you must do is that you cannot outsource these kinds of things. You've got to hold someone responsible. Look at all the vandalism that's been going on. Who has been held to account? The persons who are supposed to police these things. If it's the Navy, you must hold someone to account. And that's really the difference between the government that is coming by the grace of God and this government. It is holding everyone who is responsible for anything to account. You've got to hold people to account.
Speaking about holding people to account, because we need to wind down, we're really out of time. What do you make of those comments out there in the public domain, allegations, gossip, whatever they are, where they say, yes, you talk about corruption and dealing with all of this, but they also suggest or allege that how do you deal with those who support you, who they perceive as being corrupt?
Let me tell you straight off the bat, the one thing that is certain, and everybody knows about General Buhari, even his greatest detractors know, that he will not tolerate corruption. Whether it's within his own government, wherever it is, within his own party, he will not tolerate corruption. That's what everyone knows. And I think that what this country needs is a level playing field for everyone, knowing that everyone will be under the law and that you will not get away with corruption. You'll not get away with stealing public resources. You will not get away with it. I think that's very important. And really, we need to be able to do that. If we can't do that, then the country has gone to the dogs. That's what we're experiencing today.
All right. Thank you very much indeed for coming on this morning. Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the Vice Presidential Candidate of the APC. We'll be back after the break. Join us again.